Hello everyone, welcome to our channel where we unfold history and explore its intriguing tales. Today we delve deep into the heart of East Asia, to one of the oldest continuous civilizations, Korea. Our journey will take us through an odyssey of time as we explore Korea's intriguing history from the era of the Three Kingdoms to the turbulent period of the 19th and 20th century, leading us to the aftermath of the Korean War. We'll understand the fascinating royal connection with an Indian queen, the influential roles Korea played in World War I and II, the turbulent times of the Korean War, its impact, possible alternate scenarios, and the future path towards reunification. So buckle up as we embark on this exciting journey of uncovering Korea's historical tapestry and the enduring legacy of the Korean War. Stay with us. Three Kingdoms of Korea. The Three Kingdoms era in Korea spanned from the 1st century BC to the 7th century AD. Goguryeo, the largest of the Three Kingdoms, had its capital in present-day North Korea. Baekje, located in southwestern Korea, was known for its maritime prowess and cultural exchanges with China. Silla, situated in the southeastern part of the peninsula, eventually unified Korea under its rule. The Three Kingdoms period saw advancements in art, literature, and technology, leaving a rich historical legacy. The kingdoms were often engaged in warfare, vying for territory and supremacy on the peninsula. Goguryeo successfully defended against Chinese invasions and even extended its influence into China at one point. Baekje had close ties with Japan, playing a crucial role in spreading Buddhism to the Japanese archipelago. Silla's unification of Korea brought stability and cultural harmony, leading to the flourishing of Buddhism and Confucianism. The legacy of the Three Kingdoms can be seen in Korea's art, architecture, and national identity to this day. The Indian-Korean royal connection. One of the fascinating tales from Korean history involves an Indian queen named Hwang-ok, who is believed to have married the king of the Korean dynasty. References to this story can be found in both Korean and Indian historical records, highlighting the cross-cultural connection between the two nations. According to Korean records, Queen Hwang-ok arrived in the Korean kingdom of Gaya in the year 48 CE. The Samguk Yusa, a Korean historical text, mentions that the queen brought with her advanced knowledge of medicine, agriculture, and weaving, which greatly benefited the kingdom. In India, the story of Queen Hwang-ok is referred to in the folklore of the Ayodhya region, where she is believed to have come from. According to Indian legends, Queen Hwang-ok was a princess named Suriratna, who was married to a Korean king after their fateful meeting. The connection between Korea and India through this historic marriage serves as a testament to the long-standing cultural exchanges and relationships between the two countries. The story has captured the imagination of people in both nations and has been the subject of various cultural performances, documentaries, and academic research. While some historians question the historical accuracy of the story, it remains an intriguing aspect of Korea's rich history and its connections with distant lands. The tale of Queen Hwang-ok showcases the potential for unexpected and transformative relationships, shaping the history and culture of both Korea and India. Korea in the 19th century. In the 19th century, Korea was ruled by the Joseon dynasty, also known as the Choson dynasty. The dynasty lasted for over 500 years, from 1392 to 1910, making it one of the longest-lasting dynasties in East Asia. During this time, Korea focused on maintaining its isolationist policies and preserving its Confucian traditions and values. The Joseon dynasty implemented a strict social hierarchy, with the king and the nobility at the top and the commoners at the bottom. The dynasty also faced various threats and conflicts, including invasions from neighboring countries like Japan and China. In the mid-19th century, Korea experienced significant changes due to the impact of Western powers seeking to establish trade relations. The monarchy faced internal struggles and political factions, leading to power struggles and instability during this period. The Joseon dynasty attempted to modernize its military and infrastructure to resist and adapt to the changing global dynamics. However, these reforms were met with resistance from conservative elements within Korean society. The end of the 19th century marked a pivotal transition for Korea as it began to face increasing imperialistic pressures from Japan, eventually leading to the annexation of Korea in 1910. Korea in the early 20th century. In the early 20th century, Korea was under Japanese rule, known as the period of Japanese imperialism. This rule began in 1910, when Japan annexed Korea, bringing an end to the Joseon dynasty. During this time, Korea faced political repression, cultural suppression, and economic exploitation under Japanese colonial rule. Koreans were subjected to forced labor, discriminatory policies, and the prohibition of their own language and culture. The Japanese aimed to assimilate Koreans into their empire and exploit the country for its resources and manpower. Resistance movements against Japanese rule began to emerge, seeking independence and liberation. Notable events during this period include the March 1st movement in 1919, a nationwide protest for Korean independence, and subsequent protests and uprisings. The period also witnessed the rise of Korean nationalism and the formation of independence movements. The end of Japanese colonization of Korea came with Japan's defeat in World War II in 1945. This marked a significant turning point in Korean history, leading to the division of the country and the subsequent establishment of South Korea and North Korea. Korea's role in World War I. During World War I, Korea was under Japanese colonial rule, losing its sovereignty and becoming a strategic location for the Japanese Empire. Korea was forced to send thousands of laborers to support the war efforts of the Allied forces, primarily in the form of providing workers for military-industrial activities. Despite not having its own independent representation, some Korean activists abroad supported the Allies, hoping that their contribution would help gain international recognition for Korea's independence. Korean independence movements and protests against Japanese imperialism gained momentum during this period, with activists seeking to utilize the global tensions to their advantage. Korea's involvement in World War I exposed its people to the international stage, fostering a sense of national identity and further fueling the desire for independence. Following the end of the war, the Treaty of Versailles granted Japan the rights to continue its occupation of Korea, prolonging Korea's struggle for independence and fueling nationalist sentiments. The experience of World War I strengthened the unity and collaboration among Korean independence activists, adding momentum to their efforts against Japanese rule. The war provided an opportunity for Koreans to gain education and exposure to various ideas and movements happening around the world, which influenced their future resistance against Japanese occupation. World War I, indirectly, played a role in shaping the future Korean independence movement, as it led to heightened political consciousness and international engagement among Koreans. Ultimately, the impacts of Korea's involvement in World War I laid the groundwork for future resistance against Japanese colonial rule and the eventual emergence of a strong Korean national identity. Korea's role in World War II. Korea was colonized by Japan in 1910 and became an important part of the Japanese Empire during World War II. The Japanese occupation of Korea led to the forced conscription of Korean men into the Japanese military. Korean women were also subjected to sexual slavery, known as comfort women, by the Japanese Imperial Army. Many Koreans resisted the Japanese rule and actively participated in anti-Japanese resistance movements. Some Koreans joined the Chinese forces against Japan, while others fought alongside the Allied forces. The end of World War II brought about the liberation of Korea from Japanese rule. However, the division of Korea along the 38th parallel between the Soviet Union and the United States created tensions and set the stage for the Korean War. The impact of World War II on Korea was profound, shaping its political landscape and setting the stage for dramatic events in the years to come. The division of Korea into North and South had lasting consequences, and laid the groundwork for the eventual outbreak of the Korean War. World War II acted as a catalyst for change in Korea, awakening a sense of national identity and fueling the desire for independence and reunification. The Korean War. The Korean War, often referred to as the Forgotten War, began on June 25, 1950, when North Korean forces, backed by the Soviet Union, invaded South Korea, supported by the United States and its Western allies. This war was a result of the political division of Korea by the Allies at the end of World War II, with North and South Korea established as separate entities. The invasion was spearheaded by a surprise attack on the capital, Seoul, followed by a rapid advance down the Korean peninsula. On June 27, 1950, the United Nations Security Council affirmed the invasion as a breach of peace and called for an immediate cessation of hostilities and the withdrawal of North Korean forces. The war introduced a stream of significant events such as the Pusan Perimeter, the Incheon Landing, the invasion of North Korea by UN forces, China's intervention, and the subsequent stalemate. Over time, the front line stabilized along the 38th parallel, which had previously marked the boundary between the North and the South, hence splitting Korea into two separate countries. The war concluded with an armistice on July 27, 1953, marking the halt of fighting but not a formal end to the state of war. The Korean War significantly altered Korea's future, with the estimated death toll rising to millions and causing huge economic and infrastructural damage. The consequences of the Korean War continue today, maintaining the division of the Korean peninsula and shaping the Cold War geopolitics across the globe. Conclusion of the Korean War. The Korean War, initiated by North Korea with the support of the Soviet Union and China, officially began on the 25th of June 1950 with the invasion of South Korea. The war raged for 3 long years, causing immense devastation and loss of lives until its conclusion in 1953. It ended with an armistice signed on July 27, 1953, leading to a fragile stalemate rather than a peace treaty, which means technically the two Koreas are still at war. The demilitarized zone created along the 38th parallel has since served as a buffer zone between the Democratic People's Republic of Korea in the north and the Republic of Korea in the south. If China had completely captured Korea during the Korean War, it could have led to Korea becoming a communist country like China. This could have resulted in drastically different geopolitical dynamics in East Asia, and potentially a heightened tension and opposition against Western democracies. If the USA had completely captured Korea, in contrast, Korea might have fully embraced democracy and capitalism, potentially becoming an even stronger ally to the United States in the region. This could have drastically influenced the balance of power and further emphasized the division between the democratic West and the communist East during the Cold War period. Conversely, it could also have spurred stronger resistance from communist countries, possibly leading to heightened international tension. The outcome of the war, as it stands, resulted in the division of a once united nation, leading to decades of hostility, stark contrast of ideologies, and ongoing efforts for diplomacy and potential reunification. Impact of the wars on Korea. Following the end of the Korean War, the country was divided into North and South Korea along the 38th parallel, a significant geopolitical consequence which shapes their respective identities and relations to this day. The war helped set the stage for the rapid industrialization of South Korea, transforming it from a largely agrarian society to a global economic powerhouse, often referred to as the miracle on the Han River. On the other hand, North Korea has become one of the most isolationist and authoritarian states in the world, with a command economy heavily controlled by the state. The war's devastation led to significant losses of life and property in both Koreas, which have had lasting economic, social, and psychological impacts on the Korean people. The division has also caused widespread infrastructural and technological disparities between the two Koreas, with the South vastly outperforming the North. Society in the two Koreas developed in radically different directions. In the sphere of international relations, the divisive war has led to enduring alliances: North Korea with China and Russia, and South Korea with the United States and Japan. The tense military standoff between the two Koreas continues today, with the Korean peninsula being one of the world's most militarized zones. The war left a lasting legacy on the Korean psyche, with the pain of division epitomized in art, literature, and cinema. Finally, the ongoing quest for reunification stands as perhaps the most profound impact of the war on Korea, reflecting the longing for peace and unity in the face of historical division and conflict. Future goals of Korea. One of the most significant issues in contemporary geopolitics is the potential reunification of the Korean peninsula. Since the end of the Korean War, building a peaceful and unified Korea has admittedly been a complicated and delicate issue, filled with obstacles both political and ideological. For many Koreans, reunification is an ultimate ideal, a return to historical normalcy after decades of division, a pure and simple aspiration for ethnic unity. However, the path towards unification is marked by numerous challenges, from differing economic conditions and political systems to a substantial generation gap. South Korea's developed capitalist economy contrasts starkly with North Korea's state-controlled system, with the vast disparity potentially leading to issues post-unification. Moreover, differing ideologies between North and South risk creating societal rifts, affecting the peaceful coexistence of the two nations. Initiatives promoting peaceful engagement, like the Sunshine Policy from 1998 to 2008, sought to tackle these issues through conversation and exchange, however with limited success. Despite this, continued dialogue and diplomatic efforts, similar to recent summits involving leaders from both sides, provide hope for synchronization and peace on the peninsula. Ultimately, for unification to occur, it will be vital for both Koreas to build mutual trust, overcome ideological differences, and make compromises for the betterment of the entire peninsula. Even if the road to unification is long and arduous, it is a journey that holds the promise of a new chapter of peace and prosperity for the Korea we know today. As we navigate the intricacies of Korean history, from the epic of the Three Kingdoms to the division that spurs tensions today, we unearth a tale of resilience, transformation, and constant struggle. The Korean peninsula, once a vibrant tapestry of Goguryeo, Baekje, and Silla, eventually succumbed to external dominion, witnessed tumultuous shifts in the 19th and 20th centuries, and its role in the global wars couldn't be overestimated. The Korean War in itself was a testament to the international polarity of that era, leading not only to a physical division of the country, but also carving a deep-seated ideological divide. The scenario of complete dominance by either China or the USA would have drastically altered the cultural, political, and global discourse around the Korean peninsula. Nevertheless, the Korean spirit has weathered the storm, rebuilding from the ruins and rising like a phoenix. Today, these scars of history serve as lessons and reminders for Korea as they venture towards a future that might just hold potential reunification. Whether reunification is the path they choose, only time will tell. But one thing's for certain: the spirit of the Korean people, their resilience, and their indomitable will shall continue to define their path forward, as it always has throughout the annals of their history.